displayable as part of the result template process is very, very similar. Okay? So let me start off with the same document library as I used in the first demo. And I'm going to now create a custom column in there. So for example, I want to highlight what conference I used these documents in. So let me add conference, choice. Let's see. Put in SPC. Just 3 examples. And then we need to add a little metadata for each of them. So I can go in to each document, edit the properties, and now you see that I have this column as a field. Put in SPC for the first one. And then I can put in the second one. Properties. Put it there on this one just to get the different data. So now I have a list in SharePoint. I have 2 different fields in there. So now to be able to set up this mapping, I need to make sure that the crawler finds this new column. So what I need to do is to kick off an incremental crawl. And now I moved into the search service application in Central Admin under the search SSA, and you'll find the content sources in there. So what you need to do is to kick off an incremental crawl so that it finds the new field. And then we can go in and set up the mapping. Let's see, and then we need to go into the search schema. In the search schema, you have a list of managed properties. And what I'm going to do for simplicity is basically to map to one of the predefined refinable properties. So I can find something called refinable string, for example. And then I can filter, take the first one here, and just add in. So what I'm going to do is to add a mapping from my new default property. So I go down here, add a mapping. Now I can filter on the conference. And now you'll see that the new field I have in here is called OWS conference. You have 15 variants because I have practiced, actually. So that's why you see several alternatives in there. Then we save the mapping. And now, the challenge now is that I have a mapping. But to make sure that this field is being populated, I need to crawl the content again. So, since we did incremental crawl already, the documents are not dirty as such. So if I kick off an incremental crawl, they're not going to be fine. So either you need to do a full crawl, and go back in to your content sources, do a full crawl, or you need to make them dirty in some form, or edit them, or something similar to do an incremental crawl. The latter might be very practical in a large organization where you have millions and millions of documents in the index. But for now, we're just going to kick off a full crawl, and that should pick up those documents and make our refinable fields populated. So now let me move to my search frontend and add the refiner. So you can see before I start, on the left side there is no conference refiner here. So I go in and I edit the page. And we have one web part for refinements. So and those of you that tried to do this in 2010, you might remember that there was some crazy XSLT structure that you had to edit. Oh, you did try. Okay. Now the good news is that it's a lot easier in 2013. I mean, not only is it easier, it even shows you a preview of the values in there. And you can go in, you can put in the custom name, conference, we can save it. I need to remember to close this one, save the page. So Say-
mark a site for full crawl or is
The question is if we can mark a site for full crawl.
I don't know exactly, so we have to go in and ask the crawler team to get the answer for that. But I do believe it's either on site level or site collection level that you can actually have a scope crawling plan.
Yeah. YDI1 has a session tomorrow morning about the crawler, which he's going to go much more in depth, so you can save your question for that one. I just want to show you that we set up the crawler, we have a crawl property in less than 5 minutes, or a refinable property. Thanks, over to you now.
Okay.